Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Drone Owners Network Live. I'm your host, Curtis. Joining me today, Randy Foster down in Houston. Tommy Polo's over there on the East Coast, bringing you the latest in drone news. Stig Idesol, he's coming in from Norway. Man, have we got a great show lined up for you guys. Alex Tsepko from Skylum is here to join us today and talk about AirMagic. Let's get this show started.
Charge your batteries, lock in those props, and check that airspace. Join us live. This is the Drone Owners Network.
And like a freight train that can't be stopped, ladies and gentlemen, we are live once again. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Boom. Lots of great things going on. I'd like to welcome everybody back to the show. I want to make sure that we've got everything kind of spooled up and working here. Looks like it is. Yep, everything's working. So let's see what we got going on. We've got a few folks in the chat room there. Airflix is in the house. By the way, he's out in Faroe Islands. You guys got to... I don't know if he can share all this stuff, but there's some amazing stuff that he's out there flying around. Doug Mellon in the house. Always, Doug. Good to have you here. T-minus 5 minutes and counting. William R. is here. By the way, guys, be sure and if you would please hit that subscribe button over there. We really would appreciate you doing that. Hit the subscribe button, and then, of course, hit the notification bell so you can be aware of when we are going live. And if you want to get a hold of us, it's really easy to do. Just droneownersnetworklive at gmail.com. If you have questions or suggestions for the show, you can email us at that address. That's droneownerslive at gmail.com. It's already in the description of the thing there. So last week was an amazing show. A good friend of ours. See if we can kind of get everybody up here, because I know a couple of you guys want to comment on this. But last week we had Romeo Dersher on and gave us a lot of insight to some great stuff. And UTAC was one of the amazing events that he just went to. Randy, did you want to kind of maybe comment a little bit about UTAC and what it's about?
UTAC is a way that they've kind of standardized or working to standardize and organize training for law enforcement, first responders, and utilizing unmanned aerial technology. And it's an incredible facility that they train at. They can do basically every scenario imaginable, from live shooter to large chemical spills to rescue. And I mean, it's insane. And they've got it going on. So yeah, pretty neat to finally see some sort of a standardization and really cool training going forward with that.
Yeah, that was really great listening to him talk about some great stuff there. So we got some other great things coming up in the next few weeks. I don't want to reveal everything that we're doing. I have kind of my reasons for that, but we have some awesome guests coming. Not to discount the guests we have here. We have some awesome guests. And Alex is standing by. I don't want to make him wait too long because he's over in the Ukraine and he's up way, way late at night just to be on this show. So without further ado, I'm going to jump over here real quick and hit this button, and we're going to do this. Breaking news. And with breaking news, here is Mr. Tommy Polo.
Good evening, everyone. With the breaking news for the Drone Owners Network, we have our first story tonight is about UPS. I touched on this a little bit last week with our guest, Romeo Dersher. UPS is partnering with autonomous delivery drone networks, and it's coming to the United States. Right now in North Carolina, they're taking medical samples and they're shipping them via drone from hospital to lab to hospital, back and forth, which it's pretty neat. It's a step in the right direction for what we're going to end up seeing with the future, the Jetsons type stuff. Right now, they are taking up to 5 pounds at distances as long as 12.5 miles. So they're going like 12 and a half miles, carrying, I think most of what they're carrying right now is blood. They also have some other medical samples, small organs like kidneys, stuff like that. It's pretty amazing what they're doing. But they do have a remote pilot in charge that oversees every flight from beginning to end, to and from. Like you can't get away from that. They're going beyond visual line of sight. Obviously, they're autonomous. Yes, there is still human beings manning the operations, taking control. You know, if God forbid something goes wrong, there's somebody there to catch it. do something about it. But it's here, people. Technology is here. It is pretty amazing. We have also, I have two kind of quick stories that kind of caught my attention. They're kind of neat. But whatever it is the first one is the California State Senate, passed a resolution in support of Know Before You Fly. I don't know, maybe you've heard of that, maybe you haven't. I personally haven't until I read this. But Know Before You Fly is an initiative to promote the safe and responsible use of unmanned aircraft and supply users with information and guidance they need to fly safely and responsibly for free. So the state of California is getting on with this. They say the resolution introduced by Senator Jerry Hill is acknowledging the growing popularity for drones in recreational and commercial purposes and the importance of the easily accessible and freely available information for this Know Before You Fly. This was something that was started in 2014 by the AMA and the Association for Unmanned Vehicle Systems International, and launched in December 2014 in partnership with the FAA. And there's over 170 associations, organizations, and businesses that are involved with this, including Amazon, Best Buy, DJI, and Walmart, of all people. So it's good to know they're trying to get information out there to us, to the public, whether you're flying for fun as a hobbyist or you're trying to, make some money, do a commercial. Progression, we're getting more and more progression, which is kind of neat. There's one other story. I got another quick story, and then I got a big one for after this. There's drone gossip in Hollywood.
Gossip,
drone news gossip. This is kind of funny. Like I said, it kind of caught my eye. I was like, what is this? Game of Thrones, The Fate of the Furious, which is, I guess, one of the latest Fast and Furious movies, and Jurassic World. These three movies that Hollywood has had some, aerial footage, stunning drone shots, were incorporated in with the movie. What the thing is now, how about the guys that are piloting these drones? How are they getting paid? Apparently, there's a dispute between between Warner Brothers and the local 600 for the International Cinematographers Guild. Now they're pushing for the cinematographers. There was 3 pilots that worked that in particular on a certain movie. I'm not sure all the little details. There wasn't a whole lot of information as this. I think this just came out all this just became public like Tuesday. But the Warner Brothers and this guild are fighting because the 3 pilots that they had, they're trying to get them benefits, health benefits, 401, like trying to get them into the union and on the books, whereas instead of paying them freelance. So it wasn't real clear as to who's on what side and what's going where and where the pilots wanted to be. But it just kind of struck me. It's like, really now the union's getting involved, and then it's going to be fun. I want to talk to somebody that actually does this for a living and see what their whole thing is and if it's got to that point yet. But for my last story, the original DJI Tello, DJI and Rise with the Tello, launched last year with 2018 from Intel and DJI. And the result was a highly capable and incredibly affordable little drone. The Tello was revamped at the end of 2018 and made the Tello EDU, which is educational type purpose, which is great. I see this a lot, and I would love to get involved with this, where they're taking the Tello into schools and teaching kids. I've seen it on videos with kids 6-8 years old that are there to go. There goes the Tello up in the air. I mean, it's awesome. But this time, DJI and Rise has partnered up with Marvel and Disney to launch the Tello Iron Man edition. This thing looks neat. I hope my kid's not watching because I want to get him one of these in the worst way.
You want one for yourself.
Well, I want to play with it, but I want to say like, oh yeah, well that's yours, but here, give me your thing. Let me see this. This thing looks neat. This thing, it's designed to help you learn the basics, and it has the Friday AI system incorporated with it, which is when you get this thing out of the box and you open it up and you get all excited, you plug it into your phone and all this stuff. It sets you up and it takes you through the training mission with Friday, like you're Tony Stark getting into. You got to see the paint on this. I wish I had a picture of it. I mean, it looks like Iron Man. You got to go on DJI's site and it's like the very first thing that pops up on top. And it's got this video where like, the Iron Man's core comes down onto the top of the thing and it spins around, and really neat video. But it comes up, the thing will run through and give you voice instructions on what to do and how to play with it. and it'll take you from the basic flying instruction, the camera operation, the intelligent flight modes, all kinds of stuff. And what's neat about it that I saw is it's got the 5 megapixel camera, whereas most anything you get within this kind of price range, like entry level kind of stuff, you're not getting no more than 2 megapixels. So this one's got 5. It's a little better. It might be a little more pricey than some of the ones you see in the stores on the shelves, but I would say it's worth it. The thing is neat, but it's got it's got easy shot, 360 video, like when you all spin. It's got the 720 megapixel or the 720p video feed, but it's also got the throw and go. So you can take the thing out of your pocket, you turn it on, you get it all set, and you throw it in the air, and it catches itself and hovers. It's neat. Like I said, I got to get one of these things, at least for my kids to play with.
I got a general question. Is there a new Iron Man movie coming out? There
is a brand new Avengers movie. I believe is being released on the 26th of this month. 26th or 27th. It's after the 20th. I know that much. But yeah, it's the latest Avengers movie. It's coming out this month.
Okay. All right. Well, I was wondering what the timing was on that. I'm like, okay, Iron Man.
Yes, I should have mentioned that
movie. No, I don't keep up with these things. So yeah, it's good to know. That's cool.
Yeah. No, it's neat. It looks really neat. I would encourage you to get online, look it up, and check it out. It's really cool.
Nice.
But that's what I got for this week. Curtis, I leave it over to you. It's Tommy Polo with the Drone Owners Network News. Thank you very much.
And Tommy, thank you. All right, folks, it's time for our very, very special guest this evening. Before I bring him on, though, I want to mention that we do have a very secret coupon code that we're going to announce sometime. I don't know when, probably later in the show, so that you can get a little discount going if you're interested in AirMagic. But right now, I want to bring on our very, very special guest, Mr. Alex Tsepko, or Tsepko. I know I'm saying it wrong.
Tsepko.
Tsepko? Alex, how do you say your last name?
Tsepko is fine.
Tsepko is fine.
Just, usually when I talk to Bank of America, I tell them just go by Alex. Don't bother spelling my first or last name. Just go by Alex. It's fine.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
I'd like to point out that we did rehearse trying to say his name. We didn't intentionally botch it, but we did try.
That's fine.
We get it right.
My mom is probably asleep, so she's not watching. She won't get mad. And the rest of the universe just don't really care. So it's all good. It's all good.
I'm going to give Curtis a cell phone number out at the end of the show. So if anybody has a problem, family-wise, they can just call Curtis and set them straight.
Tough job I got here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome Alex to the show, makers of the amazing AirMagic. I've had a little chance to play with this thing. Whoa! Stop the presses. This thing is pretty darn cool. Stig has been telling me about this for quite a while, and I'm going to let Stig kind of take over the conversation here for just a little bit because he's a little bit more familiar with it than I am. But I was shocked. Artificial intelligence, we've heard about it for years, and to have it not only be used and to help you develop your photos into amazing little pieces of art, it's on your computer, which is really, really cool. It's not on somebody else's computer. When I first heard that they're going to use artificial intelligence, I thought, oh, I've got to upload my photos to the cloud. No, it's actually on your deal. So anyway, Stig, I'd like you to maybe lead this conversation.
Yeah. It's quite funny to talk about this because I'm the kind of Adobe boy and fan, and I start testing some of the Skylum products, and it's important to remember that it's not only the AirMagic. They also have a general artificial intelligence program that's called Lemur, Photo Lemur. It's quite cool, but the AirMagic is specialized for drone photography, and I guess Alex will tell us a lot about that. But there are also other software that use artificial intelligence in his pockets or program. But I would like to ask you first, Alex, a little bit about the history of your company and how you have evolved from it.
Oh, believe it or not, but I like to think of our company as probably the world's one of the world's oldest startups. We are 10 years old we celebrated our 10 years anniversary last year, and we started out 10 years ago as a Mac Fun, and we're as a company called Mac Fun, focusing on Apple iPhone apps, and then we started building Mac apps and then Windows apps, and sort of changed the name from Mac Fun to Skylum, and then launched a bunch of products on Windows and cloud. And step by step, we evolved from a small business built around little applications related to photography, to plugins, to just to the full suite of photography software. And now we are sort of coming back to coming back to sort of from many different apps that we were making. We're focusing on photography and drones and artificial intelligence. The company has now 3 offices. One is in Bellevue, Washington. One is Tokyo, Japan, and then there's production base, the mothership in Kiev.
Wait a minute. You said Bellevue, Washington?
Yeah.
I'm like 30 minutes away from Bellevue.
Oh, you're welcome to visit.
I'm gonna have to go visit. We'll chat after the show. I didn't know that.
Absolutely. So yes, it's 3 offices, 125 people now around the world. Lots of great people in the team, just loving photography, loving research and development, and doing interesting, fresh things.
Yeah, you come a long way since you started, and I heard some rumors about your last achievement on prizes for your software.
Which one? The Luminar one? Or we've actually been lucky. We've been lucky enough to be getting awards from Apple for, I think, 7 or 6 straight years in a row, where we were focusing on the Mac App Store apps, and they kept giving us best of the Mac App Store for years and years. And then in 2017, they awarded Aurora HDR as the best Mac software, period, not just photography software, but just out of any Mac apps or Mac software that they checked, they said that ours was the best of the year. So yeah, it's great getting rewards and awards and getting recognition. The one thing we sort of focusing mostly on is what they call Net Promoter Score. It's more of like sales and marketing term for checking the customer feedback about the products. So we mostly pay attention to that Net Promoter Score, at how our customers recommend us. So we are mostly focusing at growing that, and get really excited when we are able to get great marks in there. So that's the best award, I guess.
So can you tell us about the TIPA award? Luminaire 3 just apparently earned the TIPA award, which is supposed to be I'm unfamiliar with it, but I'm kind of in a little bit of research about you guys. I found out about that.
Well, I mean, it's actually our second TIPA award. We got it in 2017 for Luminar as a plugin for Adobe products, and then in 2019 we got it as for the current version for standalone. It's a number of respectful industry experts get together somewhere in the world and then vote for best gear and best software. And this year they featured Luminar as the best imaging software. That's something that's great to have, and I'm really proud. And I know that this pushes the team to try harder. And to tell you the truth, I'm not familiar with photography award ranking, and I'm not sure where TIPA stands.
Ranks really high.
But I definitely know that when we showed it to the development team, and when they see that our software gets these kind of awards, that makes team feel really proud and really engaged, and it makes them feel really good. We actually got a design. If you're familiar with the Red Dot Design Award, we got that for PhotoLeamer and last year. So the design and the user experience that you see in PhotoLuma or AirMagic was awarded by Red Dot, saying that this is one of the best user experiences when it comes to the software.
Congratulations, that's really
Got a
cool.
number of apps, so it's a number of awards. That was pretty good. Feels good. Feels good to be getting awards.
I want to point out real quick let me point out real quick for the folks that are tuning in that it's literally like midnight over there in the Ukraine. So Alex is staying up very, very late. If you guys have any questions for him and you want us to kind of pass those on to him, just type them in the chat and we'll see if we can pass these questions on to you.
Yeah. Alex, I hope you could take some feedback from some of the people we have on the show. Randy, could you tell us about how you have tested the AirMagic and used it?
Yeah, for sure. So what's interesting is let me fix something real quick. There we go. So what's interesting is, I had heard that he was going to be on the show, and a lot of the guys were talking about the AirMagic, and I was like, man, what is this about? And I'm a video guy. I'm not a still photo guy. And so I went ahead and downloaded the product last night, and I was like, let me just see what this is about. And I was up and running on it in minutes. If you are someone that is intimidated by super involved photo processing software, do not be intimidated. You can get amazing results very, very quickly. That being said, I do video. That's what I do. And in that process, though, while we're up in the air doing stuff, a lot of times we go ahead and we shoot pictures. And it's not going to be pictures that are going to be used for anything more than social media or just personal use or whatever. We just take advantage of the opportunity while we're up. Well, in the past, I've had to, I've got all the big, photo processing products, but I never use them because they're so complicated. And unless you use them on a regular basis, you're not quick, you're not smooth, you're not proficient with them. So I just kind of just don't use them. Well, with this AirMagic, I grabbed a bunch of aerial photos last night and I just started throwing them in there. Boom, boom, boom. And like having fun. It's literally as easy to get professional level results as if you were like on Instagram and just messing around with the filters. It is so user-friendly. And I'm on a Mac, I'm not on a PC, but on the Mac, man, it ran like a dream. It's fast, it's very efficient. It's a really good experience. So I think what I'm gonna start doing is anytime I'm up and shooting photos and just gonna use those on social, they're gonna pass right through AirMagic, and that's how we're gonna pump them out.
Great. And that's actually what you just mentioned was the whole purpose of creating the software, both AirMagic and PhotoLuma. It's for people who rely on photography as part of their storytelling or like story sharing, rather than just art creating or whatever. So yeah, so if it's getting to the point that where it looks good, it feels good, and you want to share, and it doesn't have those basic flaws that are added by a camera, straight when you're just using an image straight from a camera. And we plan to do the same for video. So soon you'll be able to use that video as well.
Ooh,
That would be nice.
That's a big
I
one
see,
right there.
Tommy, you're on. Just a comment there. You should jump in and tell him how it feels when you're not that familiar with photo editing and jump in and try to use it, because you are on a different level than Randy, because Randy is still working with images, just video, and you came new to the drone photography.
I'm fairly new. Yes, I am. As you can see, more of an FPV guy. So a lot of my time is 1080p video with a lot of cuts, a lot of editing, and a lot of cool music, and throw it up on YouTube. And I'll get
90 miles an hour.
Yeah, and I'll get 40 or 50 hits, and it's like, all right, cool. I got a couple fans, nice. But as you can see, I do have the DJI. This is a great hobby. I love it. This I'm trying to I'm getting more and more into. So for me, it's all of photography is fairly new. I've dabbled in the past here and there, never on a professional level. But to see this now, I've used DaVinci, I've used some Photoshop stuff, I've trials, this, that, and the other thing. You got to say, I'm married to a beautiful wife, 2 beautiful kids, a little family of 4. I can't just go, I'm going to go buy this, I'm going to go buy that. It doesn't work like that in my situation now because the kids are young, that kind of thing. But anyway, as trying to get into this, I go out, I take some pictures, I come back, it's like, okay, I got a raw image now. What do I do with it? Well, none of the stuff that I tried would take a DNG file. It would want a JPEG or anything else. So okay, so now I got something that'll take a DNG. Let me see what I can do. I mean, almost completely blown away. I'm watching the slider go across the screen, and I'm like, holy crap! Like, what did they do? Like, there's no way that they could have made that looked that amazing. It was really neat. And then as I started playing more and more, you get the little slide. You got another slider down the bottom, so you can take the intensity off of it. It's like, wow, holy mackerel, that looks really neat, but it's a little too extravagant or a little much. You can dial it down. It's like, wow, now it looks absolutely amazing. And then you got the little circle at the bottom with the lens correction. That I couldn't believe because it didn't work with every picture, but the ones that it worked with, it was like, wow. Like I took pictures of it's springtime over here, so just the little buds are starting on the trees. The picture I had, it looked good. When I hit the lens correction on AirMagic, it was like all the little detail. You could almost count every one of them. I was like, wow, that looks neat. And I played with the slider a little bit. It really brought that picture to life, and it made me really proud to I can't wait to put this up on my little website thing here, and I was thrilled with it. And all the comments and everything that come in are like, wow, man, that's really nice. How'd you do that? So I said, I don't know, it must be AirMagic. I don't know, but it was good. Now I had a question real quick. The scenario, the little scenes down at the bottom where you can pick. It's like one makes it look a little brighter. Like are they like more exposure settings? And are there going to be more? I see that you can add some more, but right. Are they going to keep being able to add more?
Yeah, and you can add them right from the start. So AirMagic is literally 2 things in one. One is about enhancing and balancing the image and fixing the haze and brightness and contrast and the more of a traditional photography stuff. But those little circles are more like art creative type of part of processing. And we added it there because a number of people want some signature styles or looks or whatever. So those circles are more about adding some, like Instagram started with filters and then the whole world started using different filters. So we figured out that, part of the audience will be happy with just balancing and fixing and automatically enhancing the image, but then people would want something more creative, and so we added those styles, and we plan to keep adding many more different styles and just.
Alex, a question there. Will it be possible for users to make their own styles?
That was my next question.
That's so we actually we now call them looks, and we mostly use them in Luminar, but in Luminar and AirMagic we want to allow people to create their own styles and then basically just use, because that photography is a universal I wouldn't say hobby or language, but it's everyone does it, and everyone wants some signature style, so it's naturally we would like even though we are positioning ourselves as a company that knows a lot about machine learning and artificial intelligence, we still believe that artists and creators should have the control over the end result. So that's why we want to allow people to just freely whatever they want and then apply to it.
Instead of just talking, should we show them how it functions? I have prepared some images from today. I was on a hiking in the mountains, just to show them how the AirMagic function. I tried to share my screen. Are you ready, Curtis?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I share my screen. No, or the software, more correctly. I pull in one image I took with my mobile phone. It's not a drone image, but it's from a mobile phone. we went for a hike up in the mountains. Oh, I shouldn't reveal that yet. It's quite okay as you see it, but look what AirMagic does just by default of all of the artificial intelligence can do with the image. And if you think it's too hard on it, you can adjust it on the slider as Alex told about. But look at it. It's kind of very simple way to work with the images. And the other thing is the styles. You can change styles if you like to. Different styles will give different results. And I know I didn't take the roughest one. But this is AirMagic, and it's doing it quite nice, and you just export the image. If you have several images, you can go into each image and adjust it.
Hey, Stig.
But just by clicking on export, say disk.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And you just define what you would like to export it as. You see, you can select a lot of different file formats, and you say continue, and you're doing it. It's very fast. But I would like to close down this image to show, because some people have commented to me that you might not get your personal style when you're using this software. So I can show you how the Aurora HDR function. Just open it and show it. That's a bit different. And I'm opening it the slow way now because I'm double-clicked on a prepared image. And it touches up the image I picked. Just have a look what I've done. The difference between the images, how you adjust it is that you have the right side, you can adjust filters. Down in the bottom, you can select different presets. But all in all, it's you can take more control of your personal style. But for most people, this is not the way to go as the first editor you use. It's a bit more advanced, and Skylum Luminar is even more advanced, but can make fantastic results. But I'm just showing it to give people an idea of what you can expect to achieve by using the software. And here you see the difference. But I'm closing it and open again. This is the original. This is by Aurora HDR when I have controlled it myself. And this is the AirMagic version, just by pulling it in and say export. So my preference was that, and this is what AirMagic does to the same image.
It looks really good, and I mean every photographer is going to have their preference, of course, but I'll tell you what, man, you get amazing results really, really quickly.
Yeah. We got a couple questions in the chat group for Alex. Lauren wants to know, are the original photos left untouched? Non-destructive editing.
Right. In AirMagic?
I believe that's. I mean, this is generally kind of what the show is about, but I mean,
right. Yeah. Well, you load them into the software, and then you just save basically a new file, so we won't overwrite the existing file. That just stays where you want. So it's easy, and you can save it where you want and just use it.
And then Doug Mellon has a really great question. He says he has a suggestion for a future version. Is there any way to have AirMagic or Luminaire or Aurora to automatically apply a watermark?
It will. So yeah. Well, the short answer is yes, for sure, and we're working on it. And just for the audience and for you guys too. Well, first of all, thanks for showing Aurora and thanks for showing AirMagic. I really appreciate that. And just to sort of differentiate different products for you and give you a better idea, Luminar, we are building Luminar as a photography platform, so you can organize and share and just back up and then edit and apply watermarks. So that's a standalone platform that will eventually support video editing and have watermarks, and we're getting there. So so the short answer, in Luminar, you will be able to perform all those things. And the Aurora HDR for us is mostly, we created as a product to merge HDR files and just focus on like multiple exposures and brackets, so that it works great with a single image, but it will work much better with several exposure brackets. So give it a try as well. And eventually you'll be able to bring images from Aurora or AirMagic to Luminar and organize and keep them inside Luminar, and you'll be able to crop and add watermarks and do all sorts of things inside Luminar.
I'd like to add that the user interface with these products is so good and it's so friendly to use. It just makes sense. And there's a lot of products that you get intimidated because it's like, oh, what does that do? What does that do? And it can be a little overwhelming. So for someone that would want to create better images and to enhance what they shoot, it's a very low learning curve, and you can jump right in and make AirMagic, right? Mm-hmm. One of the things that I like, and it may be silly to some, but that little slider where you can show the before and after, I think that is super unique. I've seen, where you can click on it, and Stig actually demonstrated that you have that option as well, where it'll show, before, after. But to be able to scroll that bar across and to look at certain portions of that image as you do it. And I saw also you can adjust the angle of it too on some of those. And so that was kind of neat to be able to see the before and after. I know it's a little thing, but it's just part of that really slick user interface that I think is really cool.
I almost wish in fact, we might do this. Stig, if you could pull that image that you have your wife up on the cliff there. We were talking about this earlier about the differences just on the mug. Should
I put it up again?
Yeah, I think you should, because I don't think a lot of people realize how much change is actually taking place. If you're just kind of looking at the picture overall, and which is what most new pilots and new photographers are going to do, but if you sit down and actually look at what's happening to the image, then you'll find out there's a lot of stuff going on. And we were really looking at what was going on as far as Stig's photo, and a lot of the detail in the mountains, the detail in the clouds, the detail on the cup that she's holding, the texture on the coat that she's holding, and how much it changes. And I think once you start understanding to look at the details, you guys will see the power that AirMagic has. So let's start talking about the mountains first. So we got this haze in the background, and then as we scroll across, all of a sudden you start getting some definition and some clarity in there. And then now we can go over and take a look at her coat and do the before. So here's her coat before. As we come back across the line here, you'll notice that you'll start seeing specular hits and it just looking a whole lot better. The back of her shirt too is more blue, and the cup has got its specular hits on it. So I mean, it's really an amazingly powerful tool when you know to start looking at a lot of the little details in there. If you look at the brown grass, and Stig is probably the only person that has brown grass right now.
Yeah.
No,
look at in the black jacket she's holding down on her arm. Look at the details in the shadow parts, the darker parts, how it lifted up. I know Randy has also experienced that things that looks almost black suddenly start showing up details.
So that's
look at her face. What's happening with the skin tones and her hair and the details.
Yeah, it looks really nice. She's got a nice smooth complexion with good skin tone, and yeah, it's really nice looking.
What else should be said here is we're streaming live too, so a portion of this may not be coming across, but to tell you guys that the four of us are just impressed with this is something that you guys should look at if you're not familiar with working with images and stuff. This really is something that you should look at, and when you're looking at it, don't just put it in there and look and see what's before and after. Use this scroll bar. This thing is really, really powerful addition tool here that they've kind of just included in there.
Guys, FYI, just I know that you guys cheated, so you put an iPhone image with a person in there, so that's fine. But if you can try to run the same image with Photo Lemur, and see what it does to faces, because photolimmer has an additional algorithm that analyzes faces and detects humans, so it will work on the skin and everything. For AirMagic in particular, we turned the human aware the human recognition off, so it doesn't look for faces. But it's because we really wanted people to use it on aerial images from high above that usually don't see a person so close. So give a shot to Photolim as well. Same user experience, but it has some additional tools that work on skin and faces and even eyes, because we've got lots of requests from our Japanese and Chinese customers. They like eyes bigger. So Photolimmer has that special algorithm that if you work on faces and if you work on portraits, it will touch your skin just a little bit and then even make eyes a little bit.
Is it like an anime thing where they want the eyes bigger or something?
Well, they just they just seem to like it, so I'm not sure.
I'm just
I wanna
asking
see
a
what I
question.
look like
I don't
with
know.
bigger eyes. Do I need bigger eyes? I want bigger eyes.
I would like to
I
add
think
some
it would
tip.
look good.
I would like to add some tip to all that shoots drone footage. When you're taking stills, use the DNG RAW setting and underexposure just a little bit, 0.3, 0.7 or something like that, just a slight underexposure. Because if you burn out the highlights, there's nothing to recreate. So just a slight, not too much, because then you're losing in the shadows, but just a slight underexposure, and you'll get fantastic results in the AirMagic.
Just a quick from the chat group, Airflix Tony wants to know: does Alex have any hidden tips and tricks for AirMagic that we might not just see right off the bat?
For AirMagic, well, I'll tell you the work. Let me answer. Let me answer to you, this. I think the best way to use AirMagic is to load dozens or even hundreds of images at once and use it as a bulk aerial processing tool, rather than just one by one image editor, because that's why we created it. We created it to allow people to just enhance batches of images and save loads of time. So that's the way I use it. To tell you the truth, whenever I shoot with a drone, I just come back home and transfer all the images to my Mac and then process them with AirMagic all at once. And that's the way I like to be using it. That's my biggest trick. And then I second step is try to use it with DNG, and especially when you use it with DJI DNG files, it has a special it has a special algorithm under the hood that analyzes and recognizes those images. And so with raw files, it will definitely reveal more details and data, and you'll get a much better result than from JPEG or any other format. So the tool is so simple. It just start using it, process a lot of images, enjoy the results, and then just go back shooting with your drone, using the time you saved with AirMagic.
I like that.
I'd say it's really I think it will really sound weird from a guy who runs a software company, but I would love to see people using AirMagic less and then shooting more with a drone. That's the whole idea of the software. It's like just load the images, go make yourself a coffee, go talk to your family, go spend time elsewhere, let the software do the job, and then just come back and enjoy the images. That's the trick, is not to spend too much time in front of a screen manually editing photos, and do some other stuff.
I like that. Fly more, spend less time editing. Is that going to be the new tagline?
Well, we'll see. But that's the whole idea. That's the whole idea behind Skylum tools. It's man, we spend so much time on doing things manually, and the technology is so advanced right now that you can train. It's not like machine learning will take your job or will conquer the world, but it can definitely save a lot of time. And if you can just get some extra minutes or hours of your life to do something else, why not? Taking a chance, right?
Well, I am impressed with the software, and like I said, I just downloaded it yesterday, and I was up and running in minutes. And there was a real kind of a photo that I threw in there that I was like, well, let's see if we can do something with this. And
Give it, try to run a very very simple experiment. We actually tested it with video, but we didn't. It doesn't support video files. Oh, that could be a good trick on how to use PhotoLima or AirMagic with video.
Image
if you take a video file and break it down like stills, many stills.
We call that an image sequence. So every still that has an image.
So get the image sequence and then put all that image sequence into PhotoLima or AirMagic, enhance it and put it back to the video editor and turn it back to the to the motion video. So you'll get an automatically enhanced video. It's quite long and complex, not the best user experience, but at least you'll see how that enhancement works on video files.
I shared my screen again to show the before and after. I put all my images through AirMagic when I came home today. I just dragged them over the DNG files over in AirMagic and outputted them in JPEG. And you can see the difference at once when you look at them. Quite simple. And that's what you're talking about. I just dragged them over to AirMagic and went making food because we were hungry and let it do the job itself. I didn't touch any of those images on the right side. I've just run them through AirMagic.
Wow.
And there's a lot of bracketing shots here because I'm planning to make some HDR, and there's some stitching shots. And there's even a selfie. Oh, I open it in Photoshop now. I don't like the JPEG extension. I would prefer it to be a clean Windows extension with the 3 letters. I'm sorry about that with the Photoshop, but you see, I run them all through. I didn't touch them at all, and they are a good starting point for the next step in the process. So it was not my intention to open it in Photoshop, but okay. Just put them up in images instead of to show them there. Yeah, it's kind of, usually I'm using bracketing a lot to create. And here you see one of the stitched panoramas. So you can clearly see what I'm planning to do with stitching, but this is just run through it without touching it at all. So it's quite easy to get results. But I have one question that is the biggest challenge you get today, Alex. And that is, can you explain artificial intelligence and how it works?
The lead of when I told the guy who leads our AI lab that I'll be talking with you guys, the first thing he told me is, don't use the word don't say artificial intelligence, say machine learning. Don't use that marketing term that everyone has been using and speculating on for years and years and years. So it's definitely an artificial intelligence, but our researchers and our development team likes to use something more technical like machine learning. And if the question is how it works, the question is literally very, very simple. We call it supervised machine learning. So basically we train neural networks with big data sets of images, and when I say big data sets, that means thousands and thousands of images that you throw into a system, and then you throw before and afters, and then you show where the mountains are, where the faces are, where this, all sorts of things. You literally just spend a good amount of time training the neural network, and that's how the system knows where different objects are, what sort of tools to apply, and so on and so forth. So what we are using right now is just a machine learning, a number of different machine learning algorithms. They are not one thing that people usually ask us is whether we are tracking what users are doing inside of the software, and whether we are accessing their data to train the network. Well, in our case, that works differently. It's we train it on our side and then just keep updating it with every new update. So we're not touching the user data or user images. We continue feeding our systems, our networks with more and more images every day. And that's how we just do things.
I was told something very funny from one person that talked about machine learning and artificial intelligence. He said, oh, it's not intelligence before they start learning by themselves. And I said, well, when you were born, how much did you know then? Who gave you the input and triggered your learning and logic? It's not something that even intelligence has to be stimulated and given input to.
Well, I'm just like a number of other people who are way more famous than I am. They said that we are all scared of robots started to be too intelligent, right, and just conquer the thing. So in our case, it's we train the software, we train them to recognize different objects and make decisions in terms of different adjustments they want to apply to these objects. And it's like humans continue to train machines and then just use this machine learning to save time and perform operations faster in the benefit of photographers or videographers or whoever. So it's not like you can just show a single image to a robot and they will artificially or immediately fix that. The brain, you still need to use a human brain to teach a machine.
I'm sorry, but we got a question from one of the viewers about, will there come a mobile app?
Well, we're actually working on a cloud-based web solution that will be then available on different platforms. As a standard mobile app, that's kind of like difficult right now because we're still using a lot of different resources from the hardware to actually process the images. So not every mobile phone is still capable of what a PC or a Mac or a cloud can do. So what we will be offering is an access to the web, to the cloud, where people can upload their images, get them enhanced, or videos, get them fixed and enhanced, and then just using them on the mobile. So there will be a mobile client, I would say, so or a possibility to use our solutions on different platforms, but not like a native app or whatever. And one thing to note is a lot of people ask us about mobile apps, but if you look at your iPhone or Samsung or even Huawei camera, if you take an image, they're already using a machine learning and automatic enhancement on the back end. That's why images from a smartphone on a smartphone screen, they look much better than raw images from a camera or a drone. So the whole idea of creating AirMagic or PhotoLimmer was for people who use either drones or action cameras or DSLRs or mirrorless, who are using the raw format, which is capable of delivering a broader dynamic range. But in reality, you don't really need an automated image enhancement solution just on the mobile, because mobile cameras are doing that for you already. The mobile camera already enhances the image that you take automatically. That's why they look so awesome on a smartphone screen.
Yeah, we also know that from the DJI drones that the JPEG files are processed by the image processor on board in the drone. You see it typical in the Mavic 2 Pro. A lot of people talking about the DNG files or raw files are bad because they have a distortion and they are grayish. But that's the fact. That's what the sensor sees, and then they run it through the processor to generate the JPEG, but they correct it.
Correct.
So it's already existing inside the drone, and that's why I also say always shoot raw, just to make sure that you get what the sensor see, not what the image processor on board in the drone
Sure.
makes.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
So we kind of teased at the top of the show that we had a discount code. Stig, do we have a discount code that we're going to share with everybody? And what's it for?
Oh, yeah. Alex, promise me you don't cry now. Skylum have offered us a discount code of 20% off to our members and viewers. And the discount code is, do you know it, Curtis?
Actually, I don't. I was hoping you had it.
Oh, you know it. You don't want to say it.
Why not?
Drone Owners Network. In one word, no spaces and big letters.
Drone Owners Network is your discount code, guys. So go download the software, try it out, and if you like it and you want a 20% discount, just type in there Drone Owners Network, and we're gonna hook you guys up.
If your listeners and fans have any questions, I just want to make sure that they know that they can send an email to the support team. They have an objective for this quarter to shorten the period of the reply time to 7 hours. So if you have any difficulties with entering the code or whatever, it just ping the support team. Or if they're not replying, send me an email to ceo@skylum.com. I usually track that inbox in case of emergencies and stuff and forward it to the team around. So I know it can be hard to find a place where you need to enter the discount code. So if you have that issue or any other recommendation related to the software, just send an email and the team will be watching it and be ready to help you.
Very nice. Very nice.
I kind of hesitate. I know we're kind of running a little long here, but there's a couple of really good questions in the chat group. Airflix asks, what does the machine learning actually learn? What kind of photos I shoot, which filter I prefer, or is it learning something else?
So like I said, it doesn't learn anything from the user himself or herself. So if a person is using AirMagic, we don't see what sort of images or like activities are done by the user himself. But on our side, what we train it is from a very basic, like analyzing objects and understanding where there's a human or foreground, background, sky, any other object. That's the basic things. Then we also train it to know what is a balanced color and basically don't go too far away with saturation or like other color processing techniques, and a bunch of other things. So in reality, you don't have to. When people think of machine learning or artificial intelligence, they think Terminator and all sorts of sci-fi movies and this stuff. In reality, it's we have a team of researchers and image processing specialists who actually edit raw images, and then show it to the computer, to the system, saying, this is the result that people want to get. This is like what photographers like, and they have all sorts of different variations, and they just teach to get to that very balanced style and very balanced look. So it's not like when you're using AirMagic, we are tracking what drone where you flew, or like what sort of things you do. No, that's not the point of the software. We don't have any access to the data, and we don't really need it.
But it does know what, like when I put a picture in, it comes up. It says detected picture from Phantom 4 Pro version 2. I was like, whoa,
right,
whoa.
because that information, that's why when you shoot Stig can help on that as well. When you shoot raw, you have the data inside of your raw file already. So the raw file knows what camera you used. So we are just looking at the data in your raw image. So if you load a JPEG from Mavic or from any other drone, we won't say that we know that that's a Mavic Pro, because we won't see that data. But what AirMagic does, it looks at at the front of the image, like what is on the picture itself, and it also looks under the hood of the image with what lens you use, what camera you use, and so on and so forth. It just reads it. So it's not like we are just guessing it. We are pulling it. We are pulling the data from the raw image itself.
We are getting close to the end now, and I just would like to mention something about this DNG file. DNG files contains a raw image file, a JPEG compressed preview file, and a file container with metadata, where there's a lot of information, even more than you can find in the regular EXIF data. So there's a lot of specification to pick out of the DNG file to help providing information to software. It's an archival format, so it has room for a lot of extra information.
Okay, one more question from the chat. Lauren Denauer had asked, Alex, what are you expecting for the hardware requirements once you guys enable processing video? What are you looking at?
Hard to say. We still need to do some testing. It will definitely be, we are trying to put as much as we can in the cloud, to tell you the truth, because then you won't require a high-end PC or Mac to process videos, because it's easy to do on the Amazon the cloud side. But we'll see. It is definitely not a 10, 15-year-old machine. It's depending on the video size and a lot of other factors. You may hard to say right now. It's like I won't be guessing, but we usually try to make it as as simple for the user as possible. But sometimes that's why we are not going on the mobile with some of our technology right now, because the hardware is just not ready. It's not us. Cool.
Thanks for putting an answer to that. I know that there's not an actual concise answer, but
right.
It's good to have a little bit of a preview. I know we're still off in the distance on that.
Yeah. But we'll be working on making it work on as many different machines as possible. That's the whole idea.
Well, Alex, I want to thank you for coming on. I know you stayed up really late. You're midnight over there in Ukraine right now. And
no worries. I now wish we launched this kind of software more often. I enjoy talking to you guys, and
well, you're always welcome to come back. I mean, our door is always going to be open for you. This is some fun stuff Absolutely. That we're playing with.
There's actually one thing that we didn't mention is that in Luminar there is a dedicated workspace and a set of presets that we made together with DJI years ago. So AirMagic is more for automated drone image enhancement. But then if you want to go manual and have more control, then you launch Luminar, and there's a workspace that says aerial photography, and you have manual sliders that we developed together with Romeo from DJI a couple of years ago, and he consulted us on what sliders photographers who shoot aerial photos use. So you have highlights and blacks and whites and shadows. So for manual professional processing, we already have that workspace in Luminar.
Romeo just messaged me and said to tell you hi.
He's a great guy. He's a fantastic person. DJI is super lucky to have him.
Oh yeah, they are. The guy's amazing. We had him on last week. Just an amazing stuff. The stories he was telling. Well, Alex,
hey, Curtis, hold on, okay. Curtis, give Alex's website so that we have it nice and clear, and we know where people can go and look to see the whole suite of their products.
I think Stig would be set up for that a little bit better.
Yeah. Should I show the website or just say the address?
Oh, yeah, you can. Yeah, you say it, but yeah, I don't know how fast you could show it. But
it's skylum.com. I can try to put it up here. I'm just finding it first.
And then the spelling on that, folks, is Skylum, Skylum.
I had it just a second ago.
I didn't mean to throw you for a loop there,
Skylum.
Stig. Sorry about
Skylum.com. Skylum.
Yeah, I'm
Skylum.
on it now. Skylum. It's not the Matrix, it's Skylum.
Much easier to spell and pronounce than my last name for sure.
that.
I'm never going to live that down.
There it is. There it is. So yeah. So now we see the whole host of products, as well as his image packs, or I should say his what do you call those? Are they looks? Are they?
Yeah, we call them looks, and just regular styles. So a lot of different things to take a look at.
Yeah. So you can buy the programs and then actually buy the style packs to enhance the program after you buy it. But it comes with a whole host of stuff just ready to rock and roll right out of the box.
It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, we can't emphasize
look
enough
forward
for new pilots. I mean, it's and people that are new to photography. AirMagic is just amazing.
Yeah, take it to the next level, folks. This will definitely make your stuff stand out.
Thanks for that. Thanks for having me, and thanks for the feedback. And it really means a lot. And again, any feedback, bad or good, just send it to CEO@skylum.com, because the team is on it 24/7. We really need to keep working on the product, keep working on the technology. So any feedback is very, very welcome.
You guys are doing it right so far.
Again, thank you very much, Alex, for coming on. I want to thank you guys in the chat group for giving us some great questions, and we want to thank all of our viewers for watching. That's it for us. We are the Drone Owners Network Live. We are out of here.
The show is over. Why are you still here, Dave? Dave's not here. Ha ha ha. I made a joke. You are in a restricted area. Unauthorized access. Violation code 356874. Cyber intrusion detected. Security protocol initiated. Begin hacking user database. Firewall penetration successful. Encryption sequence initiated. Rootkit uploaded. Botnets activated. Distributed denial of service attack. Begin now. Malware generated. Goodbye, loser.